My life be like, ooh, yeah. My life be like, yeah. My life be like.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. If you clicked it, it's because you wanted to see the Porsche, I imagine. So I'm gonna go over that Porsche just a little bit. We're gonna go a little more in depth. We're gonna go for a little test drive. We're gonna talk about Nick, kind of what he does for a living, how he's able to afford a Porsche at age 25. I'm sure a lot of you are probably wondering, if you clicked on the video, how he's able to afford it. So we're gonna go talk about that. We're gonna talk a little bit about what it takes to own a Porsche.
To go by a little rule of thumb called first one of the speed limit wins. There's state police all up and down this highway like all the time, so I don't like speeding, but I do like getting to the speed limit relatively quickly.
There's no law against that. So you were just shifting right now. What are we doing?
Yeah, so it's really cool. They've got three different like sort of variations of how you can shift. This steering wheel, it's not the sport steering wheel, they call this the multi-function wheel. They call it the Porsche MF wheel. And so for this one, the way they have it like set out is you can pull either one of these two little shift knobs. They push in and they also pull out. So if you've got your fingers and you want to downshift, you can pull this one, it'll downshift. But if you only have this hand free for whatever reason, you can do this one and you can downshift using that. So they can both downshift. And the same thing for upshifting, you push either one of these up.
Oh, very nice.
And you can like upshift using either one. And then the third way is you can do this right here, is to downshift, you know, you pull it back. And then whenever you want to upshift, you just push it forward.
Yeah, there you go. PDK. So tell us about that PDK. I know this is a relatively, somewhat new, not entirely new, but it's relatively new to Porsche. It's got a dual clutch system. What do you know about it?
Yeah, so Porsche Doppelkupplung, I think is how you actually say it. It's like a German word, I believe. But the way that Porsche designed this transmission is they sort of like innovated sort of the dual clutch into the industry. I don't know if there was dual clutch prior to Porsche, but Porsche's take on the dual clutch automatic transmission was to name it Porsche Doppelkupplung. And then they state, I think in a lot of their marketing, they state it is the fastest way to shift gears with zero interruption in the flow of power. So whereas in a lot of cars that do have an automatic transmission, is let's say you're here in like third gear, you'll be driving and then to shift gears manually automatic, you'll press it. And then there will be that lapse in time prior to whenever you shift the gear to when it actually shifts. Porsche solved that problem in racing so you don't have that little lag and that interruption of power by literally creating a system where it shifts gears almost instantly. So I'll give you a quick demo of that and just pay attention to how quick it actually shifts through these gears right now. So we're gonna go down. Downshifts, if you see, are instant. So we'll go all the way into first gear here. So if you'll see, like it's like instant shifts. Like every time you click it, it's in the next gear, and that's really awesome, especially whenever you're racing, or if you're just a young 25-year-old kid like me who just wants to shift gears super quick and be cool. Alright guys, a beautiful thing about Porsche, it's sometimes, you know, you want to enjoy your $10 bottle of cacao milk, and so what you do whenever you're in a Porsche, where's the cup holders at? Well, if you know, you know. Over here you click on this little carbon fiber piece, and then out comes not one, but two cup holders.
Nice.
So if you got one for you, one for your lady, or in this case, one for me and Isaiah, whenever you want to put them in here, you can also custom adjust it to be the exact size you want. Push it back in here, so that way while you're accelerating 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, it doesn't fall out.
Nice.
Whenever you're done, it's really beautiful. All you do is you just push it all back. And once you got it in, you can then push back your beautiful piece of carbon fiber.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, it's broken.
And you'd never even know it's there. Really beautiful design by Porsche.
Anyway, so Nick is letting me drive his car. Never been in a Porsche. I must say, I actually fit in this car. I was gonna be a little skeptical at first because I'm 6'2", and it's a small car. There's no back seats. It's only for 2 people. But I guess if you don't have the back seats, I guess it gives you a little more leg room. It's actually comfortable. I like the bucket seats. They feel good. So let's take it for a ride and see how it goes. Nick, I have insurance. Don't worry. Something happens.
Yeah, bro.
And I'll try not to get a speeding ticket because
so
I've been press it down.
Yeah,
go back.
One back is reverse.
Alright.
It'll also show you in this little readout whichever gears you want.
Alright. Oh, yeah, I never trust the camera.
Camera's good, but yeah, it's good to look around too.
Alright.
All the way back's in drive.
Is that it?
Yeah, it'll say it on there. So sure.
Oh yes, yeah, okay.
There's also sport mode right here as well.
Well, let's do the sport mode. What is the Sport Plus?
Sport Plus is pretty wild. Like it won't shift the next gear until you're at like all the RPMs, like 7,000 or 8,000 RPMs.
Since I'm a Porsche virgin, let's just stick to the regular Sport.
Yeah, Sport is fun. Sport's the fun one. That's what I always keep it in. Sport Plus is like too intense, but it pretty much opens up the valve, so it opens up the performance exhaust.
Okay, so driving it right now, it feels pretty normal. I don't feel like I'm taking off. Feel a little more horsepower, but not to the point where it's like jerking yet. So let's see once I hit the pedal to the middle, it'll feel the same. Do you know other people with the same car, Nick?
Not with this exact same car. For the US market, I think, I may be wrong, but I think there was like 433 of these exact same 2016 Porsche Cayman GTS released. And then
that was just like barely, that was just kind of like, I gotta hurry up a little bit, but not good yet.
Yeah, but I think there was like only like around 400 released in the US. So because it was limited edition, these ones hold their value a lot better.
Oh, and what's the special part about it being limited? What is it limited?
It's just kind of like the GTS. I'll let you accelerate first. Yeah, so the GTS, the reason it's limited, it's like once Porsche gets to like the last variation of their chassis, like this one was the 981 chassis, and then the new one is like the 982.
Oh man, I'm having too much fun now. I think I'm just gonna take the ticket next when I get stopped.
Yeah, they always sit up here around the corner.
Maybe not.
Yeah, they're like all up and down this highway. But yeah,
slow down a little bit.
Whenever Porsche makes the GTS variation of their vehicles, it's kind of like their way of celebrating the chassis with like the limited edition, last edition ones. Because when they went into the 718 Cayman, which was the next one after this, the very last edition was this one. And this was naturally aspirated, which is like, yeah, the new ones are turbo, and so like people thought this would become a very high value collector's edition car because it's a flat 6 mid-engine, it's naturally aspirated, and it's got all the options. So it's like the fully loaded out version of this car, unless you go to the GT4, which is like the track version, which has like the fire extinguisher and everything. Nuts. But this one has like all the creature comforts. Like it's got a heated steering wheel, it's got sport mode, Sport Plus, bucket seats, but they're still comfortable. Alcantara literally everywhere.
So I'm gonna hit the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, there's a lot of cops, so maybe like.
Well, I know there's any up until after that bridge, so I think we'll be safe, Nick.
Yeah.
So I picked up pretty quick.
You really feel
this car is like super light. Like,
yeah.
as soon as you hit that gas pedal, it's just like there's like zero lag. You don't feel the heaviness of the car until this car is this light, man. It's just, everything just takes off. And the steering is actually like smooth. It's so smooth. It's like, it doesn't oversteer. It's not understeering. I wish I had a nice curve. But I think we're, maybe when I get to this.
Yeah, that's our exit right there. Yeah, it being a mid-engine car makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
We call it the track scalpel for a reason.
I can see that. Yeah, you can definitely feel the torque when this thing takes off. I think it's got what, like 280, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's like 3 something, like 330. But yeah.
Oh, for this one, that's right.
I'll put it in the manual right here. So now just like press down, like pull back on the things and just downshift all the way to like 1.
So put down or?
You just like push down. Yeah.
Does it again?
Yeah.
And then up here it would be.
Yeah. So when you go, you just push in with your thumb. Yep. Got all the power right there, and it's like instant shift.
Oh,
so
man, I feel like you feel the power like when you're shifting on your own.
the downshifts are fun because they like crackle and stuff.
Let me get a good crack on there. Nice.
Crazy.
Definitely say this is a fun car to drive. Alright guys, hope you guys like that car video. Nice Porsche. If you guys need some questions answered about it, this is the guy to talk to. He knows a lot about the Porsche as well as some other cars. He's got a Tesla if you want to ask him some questions about that. But I want to delve a little bit into Nick's personal life. I'm sure the number one question people are probably thinking right now in their head, you guys are probably thinking, how does he make so much money? You're how old, Nick?
25.
25 years old. When I was 25, I was blowing my money, zero investments. I didn't save anything. And, you know, and I look back and I'm like, man, like I should have done something. So Nick, tell people what it is that you do and how you got to where you are now, where you can afford to have like a nice house, you know, 2 really nice cars, a Porsche. I mean, not a lot of people get a Porsche even when they retire. So what is it that you do?
So I'm a day trader. I day trade financial markets.
Okay.
My bread and butter, the main one, is the foreign exchange currency market.
Okay. So what is the benefit of doing a foreign exchange market, and explain what exactly that means versus just doing like a stock market?
Yeah, so whenever I say day trader, I guess I mean it's kind of like a blanket statement. It's somebody who participates in margin trading of financial instruments, and so that can be stocks, that can be the cryptocurrencies, like you can trade like commodities, futures. There's so many things you can trade. What they call foreign exchange currency trading, which is what I do mainly. They just call it forex trading. And what that is you just trade the value of different countries' currencies against the value of other countries' currencies. And so I do that. The reason I do that instead of like basing my trading around like commodities, future stocks, is because the volume in the forex market is the biggest financial market in the world. It's like bigger than any other industry. Like for instance, like the New York Stock Exchange will do maybe $4 to $5 billion a day in trading volume. The forex market does upwards of $5 trillion a day in trading volume. And so the reason I picked that one as the one to focus on is because it was such a huge market, and I figured, you know what, if I can get even just like a tiny little sliver of that market, I could be a very, very wealthy person. So that's why I got into day trading, and also it's why I picked forex market in specific.
But Nick's been doing it now for how long, Nick?
About 4 years. I got into it in, I think it was like March of 2016, so a little over 4 years right now.
All right. And tell us about how you got to where you did. Did you come across a lot of money? Did you inherit some money and you were able to invest all this into trading, or was there a struggle? Did you have to like save up a bunch of money? How did you get to where you could do this?
Yeah, so my mom and dad are super rich, so I took out a small loan of $1 million.
Oh, kind of like Trump.
I bought a bunch of cocaine and I just resold it in California, and then now I'm here.
Nice. You got any left?
Yeah. Oh, right.
Okay.
You want some right now? Oh, well, we're doing a video.
Oh, wait,
yeah, sorry guys. No, I'm just playing. But no, I didn't inherit anything. My mom, she was a nurse. My mom and dad are both nurses. So I mean, we were never like bad, like growing up, like as far as like money, but certainly weren't wealthy. So like I didn't get anything handed to me. Like literally nothing that I have right now was just handed to me, like financially. And so that I feel really prideful about that too. I'm really happy about that because I literally worked for everything. But I started back in 2016. I realized I didn't have any money. What do you have to have to day trade?
Money.
Yeah, so you gotta have. So that's one problem I encountered. And since I didn't want to accept any handouts from anyone, family included, I said, well, the only way I'm going to get out of this rut is just to work. So I worked like 2 jobs. I worked one, I was like a security officer, and the other one I worked at Target and loss prevention. In total, between like my jobs and driving back and forth to work, I was probably tied up with work like 85 hours a week. Like it sucked and I hated it. And when I wasn't working, I would spend every waking minute that I wasn't passed out, exhausted, I would spend every waking minute learning to trade Forex. And I would learn all sorts of stuff all over YouTube, all over Google, different websites,
testing stuff over and over.
Right.
Went through a lot of money doing it. I lost like $8,000 my first year. It really sucked. But I spent all my time and optimized my time around learning how to trade. And so yeah, it was kind of a battle, but once I got like a little bit of capital saved up, I vowed to at least save up what I had lost my first year, which was about $8,300. So I saved that up. I had tested my trading system, and then after getting a few months of profitability on what people will call like a paper trade account, which is like a demo account. It's like play money. You can like place trades, but it's not real money. After getting consistent doing that for about 3 months, I put money into a live account, and since then I've traded it, and I've been profitable every single year since summer 2017. But yeah, so I started with like literally $8,300, and that's it. And yeah, and I just grew it from there. But yeah, it was a pain in the butt having to go through all that, man. I lost for a year and a half. I was not profitable for a year and a half after starting. So it was kind of frustrating, but I just kept at it, and I knew that eventually someday it'd work out, whether it was a year, 5 years, 10 years. So that's the only reason I stayed with it. So it was worth it. It's worth it certainly now.
Yeah. So for other people that are watching, whether they're 20s, 30s, or 40s, what advice can you give them? If they're at a crossroads in their life, or even if they're just at a point where they're just not sure what they're doing, and they're just trying to figure something out. What advice do you have to give to somebody else who's just living through the motions?
Yeah. So if I was in the same spot like 4 years ago, so if I could go back and give the same advice to myself, this is what I would say, because it wouldn't have taken me all this time. I would say, identify what your priorities are and then optimize your life around those priorities. For example, my 3 priorities are like Bonnie, which is my girlfriend, my family, and then my work, which is trading and my business. And so doing those 3 things, I'm really happy and fulfilled. And I think that's what the bigger question is. Because if you're like at a crossroads in your life where you don't know what you're going to do, you're anxious because you don't know where you're going to be in a year or 2, and you keep on doing all these different things for work, and you're not happy and you're frustrated. Right. I think what the question really is what fulfills you? And that's what you should focus on, because once you identify that and ask yourself, where do you want to be a year from now, 5 years, 10 years from now? And ask yourself, what is that person that you want to be? What do they do? What is their behavior and their actions, and what do they like and don't like? And then optimize your life around becoming that person. Because if you can get closer to being that, you're working towards that goal and improving. So that's going to be fun, like the journey there. And then once you actually get there, you'll be happy with your time every day you wake up, because every single day you wake up, you get to spend your time exactly how you want to do it, which is really cool. And I think anyone that just takes enough time to learn skills and work towards that can do that. So that would be my advice, is identify what your priorities are and then optimize your life just around those priorities and do nothing else.
Yeah, and you brought up an interesting point. I live by a motto very similar that says, live the best version of yourself, because nobody else is going to live it for you. Nobody else is going to do it for you. And if you're not going after your goals, if you're not going after the things that you want, whether it's you want a nice house, or whether you want a nice family, if you're not doing something yourself to get it, nobody's going to hand it to you. Nobody's going to say, hey, I got this house, I don't need it, it's really big, really nice, you can have this. Nobody's going to come and say, hey, you want this Ferrari, you can have it. You want this Porsche, you can have it. Nobody's going to do that. So if you're not doing something to actively get what you're wanting, like you said, focus on what it is that you want, and then work towards that specifically, then I think you're never going to get it. I'm going to put a link here to Nick's website. You run Mission FX, which is where you teach people, basically you teach them everything they need to know, from can a new person, like say if there's somebody that's never heard of foreign exchange and they're like, well, I want to know more about it, could they learn everything from your program?
Yeah.
Zero to being a trader profitably?
Yeah, that's one thing, because I wish there had been more resourceful, good content back when I got started trading. Because back in 2016, there was stuff out there about trading, but not as much as today. Today, with the accessibility of information, there's so much more than there was back when I was starting. And so I have a bunch of free content. You can find me on YouTube and all over. I also do have a paid program, but it's just for people who know they want to learn Forex and kind of make it a full-time thing. Mm-hmm. It just kind of speeds up the process, and it also gives people the access to trade with me live every day and have personal access to me, a little bit of help for me, and then trade with the students community, stuff like that. But yeah, I'd say for anyone who wants to learn, there's a bunch of free stuff out there. You can watch some of my free YouTube videos. That's a great place to get started.
I'll put a link somewhere around here.
Yeah, somewhere like
Check it
here in
out.
this video. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then if you're just kind of like, if you know it's something you really want to take the time to do and you want to shorten the learning curve, like I've been able to shorten the learning curve for clients to literally around 3 to 6 months before they get to like that break even consistent profitability. So that's really cool. Otherwise, like for me, it took like a year and a half learning on my own. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, if you are looking to do this, do something else. If you're, and this is something that you don't spend a lot of time. I mean, as far as I know, you're always out doing something, so you don't spend a lot of time actually sitting at a computer trading. You don't have, I mean, you've shown your office in your videos. You don't have like 6 screens where you have all these graphs played out.
I think that the person who wants to take the time to sit down and learn it, then yeah, it's everything's there. I don't think it's like super complicated, but what I do want to say is that it does take time. Like it can take people like 6 months to a year, and maybe even longer in some cases. Like me, I don't consider myself to be an idiot, but man, it took me a year and a half. There's just a lot of hurdles that you have to go through. But yeah, like I have one computer. I don't have like 10 monitors like a lot of these like day traders you see. Like the New York Stock Exchange has like hundreds of monitors in there. I have just my one computer screen, and I work for maybe 1 to 3 hours per day just trading, and like that's it. So it's not super complicated. I have a really simple trading system. It's like a trend-based system where you trade with trends, and it's very simple. So yeah, I think anyone who takes the time to learn and really gives it a solid couple months to a year can kind of get to that point where they're consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that in and of itself, the 1 to 2 hours a day, I think that's what really I think gives you the freedom to spend time with Bonnie, spend time with your family, and, and actually run your business that you run. So. With that being said, I think we've made a long enough video. Hope you guys enjoyed the Porsche. I got more videos coming up. So if you guys have an awesome car that you'd like to show, maybe it's like another supercar, maybe you got a GT350, it doesn't have to be a foreign car. It could be, a muscle car, something like that, and you want to show it off, definitely hit me up. Yeah, manlyblogs@gmail.com or contact@manlyblogs.com. But anyway, yeah, just subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think of the car. Let me know what you think of Nick's program. If you checked it out, have you seen stuff like that before? Definitely a cool guy. It's a real person. I've known him, like I said, known him since he was like a kid, and I've been friends with him probably for like the last 3 years. It's not some kind of a scam guy. Like he's not out there trying to rip you off. Like I said, he's got enough free content to really help you out a lot and really get your feet in if you want to try something new. But with that being said, anything you want to finalize with, Nick?
That's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I think that what Isaias is doing with Manly Blogs is here great, creating more of like a more targeted category of like content made specifically for just men who are, in Isaias' words, manly, want to learn some stuff. So yeah, it's good. I like what you're doing with like life and finances and like personal development. I think it's really cool what you're doing here with your blog, man.
Thanks, man. All right, guys, well, take care, and like I said, be the best version of yourself because nobody else is going to do it for you.